Welcome to 5 Minute Astrology. This is episode 6, and we're learning about the aspects now, which are the relationships between planets. This really describes how one planet will interact with another, a bit like how you might interact with your partner, your child, your parents, your co-worker. In astrology, the planets have relationships between them. By understanding the kinds of relationships that your planets have with each other, you get to learn a lot more about your innate abilities, preferences, and also some of the things that you might be a bit troubled by. So they're very helpful. So these are the aspect lines. The ones that we're going to notice are the red ones and the blue ones. And the reason being for that is the red and the blue lines are showing the major kind of aspects, the major and most common types of relationships that planets have with each other. Now, the first thing you might look at is, what colors do you have on your chart? Do you have mostly blues? Do you have mostly reds? The reds are known for being energizing and quite challenging. They show us where there might be a bit of conflict, a bit of tension, something to resolve. Whereas the blues are showing us where we're leaning against an open door, where things are natural, easy, and graceful. And we've got a little bit of information about the aspects on the 5 Minute Astrology Quick Map. I'm just going to blow that up so you can see it. And the five that I'm going to introduce you today, the conjunction, that's where two planets are really close together. The conjunction works at a 0 degree separation. Now, with these aspects, there's a little bit of leeway either side. So a conjunction is when planets are really close together within 8 degrees of each other, but an exact conjunction would be at 0 degrees. And you can see this here. Pluto and Mars in this example are in a conjunction. You can also see that Mercury and the Sun are also in a conjunction. We've also got sextiles where there's a 60-degree separation between the planets, and you can go 6 degrees either side as leeway. The sextiles are quite lovely because there's a sense of opportunity, there's a sense of cooperation, there's a sense that all is well and there's some support to lift you up. I always think of sextiles as being supportive. The sextiles are represented by these shorter lines. Then we've got trines. These are the long, beautiful blue lines. And when you have three of these together, like I'm demonstrating here, this is known as a grand trine. So we've got a trine from Chiron to Jupiter, and then Jupiter to the moon, and then the moon back to Chiron. This is lovely. Now, the trine is showing where there's flow and ease and support. The sextile shows that there's an opportunity that if you want to move, you have to take some effort. Whereas the trine really shows where things are just so effortless. And so they're another support sign. And then we've got the opposition, which is 180 degrees. Again, there's an 8-degree either side allowance. And you can see this demonstrated here by the position of Chiron and also Uranus. They are completely opposite each other. They're in opposite houses, in opposite signs. And so there's a little understanding between the planets. With the squares, we've got a couple of examples here. So Chiron and Mercury and Chiron to the Sun, and also Uranus to Mercury and Uranus to the Sun. The squares are working on a 90-degree angle, and they have 8 degrees either side in their allowance. The allowance, by the way, is called an orb. So that's the allowable difference. Now, when you see squares, they're really showing that there is a sort of tension between two very different planetary expressions. So here, Chiron is working through the sign of Taurus, which is a fixed sign, and it can be a little stubborn in its thinking. And then we've also got tension to Mercury and the Sun in Leo, which is really proud. And so as you start to explore what these mean, you see that Mercury is tense and challenged by Chiron, and you start to unpack it from there. So to finish off then, one of the ways of also spotting easily where the angles are, there's usually a legend, and you can see all of the planets listed, and then you can find the mid spot between them. In fact, this is a really great way of seeing which planets have the most aspects to them. In the next episode, we're going to be looking at sign and house rulers. So hopefully I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. See you soon.